They don't just have three superstars on their team carrying the load with no depth. I hope all you front-running fans have seen what a big three gets you. Absolutely nothing. Sports fans, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to another edition of Player to be named later. I'm G-Man. Hope you're getting ready for this weekend and game 2 on Sunday of the NBA Finals. First of all, I want to shout out all you front-running NBA fans who think this series is a joke, talking about ratings, talking about who knows what. Everyone knows what type of fan you are. You're the type of fan who just eats up everything that's fed to you about LeBron, about Steph, about KD, about James Harden, about Kawhi, Paul George, and that's all you want to see in the NBA Finals because, let's face it, all you fans talking about that, Jalen Brunson, the Knicks, the Lakers, just admit it, you guys don't really know basketball, so probably this video isn't for you, or maybe it is because you guys need to learn something about basketball. For everyone in the small markets, even though Toronto is the 5th largest market in the NBA, shout out to you because we know how you feel. Even though we're one of the biggest markets in North America, we obviously get treated like a small market. That feeds into the inferiority complex that a lot of Raptors fans and fan base media has. Let's get right into it about Pascal. Let's take it back to 2019. If you're a Raptors fan and a real basketball head, you know Pascal's journey up until that point. This guy didn't start playing basketball until his mid to late teens. Within 5 years, he had turned that into a scholarship and being voted the best player in his conference. And then drafted, obviously, by the Raptors. Obviously, Masai's familiarity with him from Giants of Africa propelled him to the NBA. Because no one else really knew about him, no one else really paid attention to him. That obviously helped the Raptors, sneaking in, picking him, developing him. And then him becoming basically the second, third option on that finals team. Throughout the years, after the Raptors won the championship, and Kawhi left right away, everyone the fan base, a lot of the media just propelled Pascal into that lead role where they thought he was just going to become Kawhi. The thing is, obviously, you can't just become Kawhi. Kawhi did a lot of behind the scenes work where, in San Antonio, they didn't like his jump shot. And this guy went on Michael Jordan type level training sessions where he'd shoot hundreds and hundreds of jumpers a day. And not to say Pascal doesn't have that same work ethic, because he really does. But then you get into, obviously, individual skill. Right after winning the championship in 2019, Pascal was leading that team. Him and Kyle really had that team going. And I believe they had the second best record in the league when COVID hit and everyone went to the bubble. And if you don't know really about Pascal's situation, about his family, about the support system he had in Toronto, you won't understand what he went through being isolated from his entire family when COVID happened. Like a lot of us. And till this day, all of us who went through, people are still trying to recover from that. And you look at him and he wasn't able to play or pick up a basketball for 3 months. A lot of guys weren't. And when they got to the bubble, they were just different players. Team was different. Pascal lost his rhythm. And suddenly he was the scapegoat. He was the guy that no one wanted to pay in Toronto. The media blasted him. I'm not going to get into names, but Josh Lewenberg, you know who you are. Michael Grange, you know who you are. A lot of Raptors media and fans didn't want to pay him. He's not worth $200 million. And now you're seeing why he was worth $200 million. I'm a big Pascal supporter. Anyone who knows me, and there's, I don't have many followers. People who watch me, they might know that I've always been a huge Pascal fan. Always. It was pretty much disgusting to me the way people treated Pascal he's not worth 200 million. He's not on Scotty's timeline. And now you look at the teams that are in the NBA finals. You look at Indy and you look at OKC, and what do they have? They have depth at every position. They don't just have three superstars on their team carrying the load with no depth. We've seen now, I hope all you front-running fans have seen what a big three gets you. Absolutely nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. Unless the big three was developed within your team, drafted, and maybe you had one guy that you acquired with all your depth, which is, what the Raptors are doing right now. Like I said, you look at Indy. No one pays attention to Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, right? Miles Turner. You guys don't pay attention to them. No one cared about Nembhard when he got drafted, or even though he ripped up G League, that's when everyone jumped on the case and wanted to sign him. And shout out to Indy. But yeah, OKC, same thing. Kawhi won the championship, and he basically ran Lawrence Frank and Steve Ballmer into I'm only going to play with PG. And I don't know if it was a LA thing and just to promote the Clippers and where they were going, building a new stadium. Who knows what the deal was there, but they got fleeced. They're paying for it now. And, shout out to Ty Lue, because I think he's done a great job with what he's been given with that team. The cards he was dealt with Kawhi and PG. But when you look at OKC and what they did to LA Clippers, well done, Sam Presti. I love it. I absolutely love it, because that's what the Clippers deserve. That's what any team who acts like that deserves. You have guys like Lou Will and Pat Bev saying, oh, we didn't say this, we didn't say that. The proof is out there. You guys put up a video when Kawhi left saying you guys were about to win multiple championships, and now you're sitting on your podcast crying to everyone or anyone who would listen. Cry me a river, I got a violin for you. Back to the series. This is great basketball. What happened last night, game one? Again, it's almost the same thing. I heard from the media all week, from fans, it's great that Indy, got to the finals, and OKC is just going to run roughshod over them, and it's going to be a quick series. And, as a Canadian, as someone from Toronto, obviously would love to see Shea pull this out, because when he was traded to OKC, Sam Presti sat him down and said, just stick with me. Stick with my vision, and I promise we'll get there. And that's what he did. That's what he did. And the OKC fans, they supported that. And look what that fan base has been through. And yes, that team should be in Seattle. Don't get me wrong. But look what they've been through with the stars that they've had on that squad throughout the years. And now that they're here, congratulations, OKC. And same with Indy. What did Indy do in the offseason? I'll wait for someone to put a comment But here's the answer. They did nothing. They didn't do anything. And everyone was like, what's Indy doing? What's Indy doing? Even though they went to the conference finals last year, what's Indy doing? You know what they did? They let their team marinate. They let their team bond. The only player they added, I believe, was the draft pick. I believe that was Jarris Walker. And they added Thomas Bryant. And I think that came during the season. And look who they beat in the playoffs this year. They beat Milwaukee. They beat Cleveland. And they beat the Knicks. And people just think OKC was going to run over them. Again, front runners. Shout out to everyone who likes real basketball, who doesn't care about the ratings, who's in the finals, as long as good basketball is being played. And I love it that two teams that can go 10, 11, even 12 deep are in the finals, because that's what basketball is all about. Okay, it's a team sport. It's not about three guys. Okay, OKC is not. Yes, they have Shea as their killer, but it's not just about him. In the bubble, everyone was like, "Who's this Lou Dort guy covering James Harden in the playoffs?" And he held his own against James Harden. Everyone was like, "Well, he can't shoot threes, but he's a really good defender. Maybe he should be playing football." And now the guy's all defense. and can hit threes. Lou Dort, my guy, good Canadian. So if you're one of those fans who doesn't like real basketball, you guys need to really step your game up, learn about the sport a little more. LeBron's going to be out of the league soon. And yeah, I think, when you bring this back now to the Raptors, and the 6th anniversary of their championship is coming up next week, you think about what they're doing right now and all the Giannis rumors. And don't get me wrong, if the Raptors got Giannis, if they traded for Giannis, were able to acquire him, that would be absolutely great. But at what cost? Is it at the cost like what Phoenix did, where they just drained their depth just to get him, just to get KD and get Brad Beal, and look where they are now? No, I don't want that. I don't want Giannis here if it means Scotty has to go, Brandon Ingram or RJ Barrett has to go, and then what are you left with? Giannis with the same situation that he has in Milwaukee now? In that case, I'd rather get KD as my killer, as my guy who could hit that shot in the playoffs when you need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case, you don't want your depth to go. The Raptors just hit on a great draft last year where they had 4 guys all contribute. Everyone talks about, this rebuild and what do we have in Toronto and what's it going to look like. Listen, they just won 30 games with a second string squad and guys who were basically G League players. It was their depth and their second and G League two-way guys that won them 30 games, because they had so many injuries. They wanted to see what they had. They rested guys. They load managed guys. And why not? The rest of the league does it. What's the difference? What's the problem? You see what Toronto has. If you're a purist and you know basketball, you know Brandon Ingram can play. I don't care what people are saying. Oh, we don't know what we're going to get with Brandon Ingram. Yes, you do. If you know basketball, yes, you do. That's one thing. The second thing is RJ Barrett is not just a bid piece. The guy is still young, under 25, and people are worried about his contract and what does he offer the team. And look at the stats, man. Look at the stats. They have really good depth and really good quality talent on this team. They literally need a closer and they need another center. That's all they need. They don't have to sacrifice their entire depth and their entire team just to bring in a 30-year-old Giannis or a 35-year-old KD. Leave it to Masai and Bobby to figure this out. But don't start putting all the rumors and all the narratives out there, because you guys did it with Pascal, and now Pascal made it to the finals. He could have been here in Toronto. He wanted to stay in Toronto and play with this team. And I'm going to blame this all starting on Fred, because he was the one, when Scotty got drafted, all Fred wanted to do is look out for himself, get his bag, and it was so obvious the way he played his last season and a half in Toronto. He's not playing like that in Houston. And the way he's playing in Houston definitely, to me, isn't worth $40 million. Sorry. Leadership isn't worth that much money. So, yeah, he had a good playoff series, great, but where did it get them? So, you build talent, you get depth, you have one real closer, maybe 2 on your team. You don't need 3 superstar closers. And if I keep hearing Toronto fans and media talk about no one wants to come to Toronto, we can't get anyone to sign here. Listen, I said in my last video, Brandon Ingram just basically forced his way to Toronto and re-signed. Emmanuel quickly re-signed. Scotty re-signed. Before him, Pascal wanted to re-sign and did re-up originally. DeMar re-upped. Kyle re-upped. Kawhi had his own agenda. Even before he got to Toronto, wherever he went, he was going to end up in LA. So that has nothing to do with Toronto. You fans and media who push this narrative about no one wants to come here and taxes, and get over the inferiority already. Like, this is brutal. You guys need to wake up, stop being front runners and hoping for some star to come here only for the team to suck. Like, it doesn't work like that in the NBA. If you look at the last NBA champions now, for the last few years, basically since the Raptors won it, you want to talk about Golden State, and that team was built through the draft. Yeah, they won 2 chips because KD forced his way there. He wanted to win, right? But if I'm not mistaken, did Steph, Draymond, and Clay not win a championship without him? And that's why I hate when people like Stephen A. Smith and others are like, oh, the Raptors wouldn't have beat Golden State if KD was there. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's true. But you all forget that that team won without KD. So if they beat other teams, they beat LeBron and Kyrie without KD, then why weren't they able to do it against the Raps? The NBA is a different animal. I understand it's star driven. LeBron came into the league and he changed the team aspect that guys like Jordan had built. Jordan stuck with his team, taught Scottie how to get through the tough times. And LeBron, and rightfully so, came in and said, you know what, we're not going to let owners and teams dictate how much we're worth. We're going to dictate that ourselves and kind of, push the narrative ourselves. And I'm not hating on that, but that doesn't always get you championships in the NBA. So I absolutely love this NBA Finals. I took in that first game, the entire thing. Honestly, if LeBron was in the finals, if KD and the Suns were in the finals this year, I probably wouldn't be that interested. If the Clippers were in the finals, I probably wouldn't be that interested. Like, this is real basketball we got going on here. You got to shout out Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal, OKC, even Miles Turner on Indiana, what he's been through with that team. I give them a lot of respect, and that's coming from a diehard Raptors fan since '95. I have nothing but respect for both these teams. I love the basketball that's being played. Knicks fans, cry me a river, because I know a lot of Knicks fans. You guys are purists. You guys are basketball heads. That's the mecca. I lived in New York for 3 years. I know you guys know basketball. As a Leafs fan, I kind of understand from a Knicks fan's perspective why you wanted them to win, obviously. But you can't deny that this is good basketball we're seeing, and we're going to see in this entire series. The way yesterday went down, again with the Pacers, I think it's going to be a good long series. It's not going to be, a quick one. Although you can't deny OKC's talent and the way they kind of handle themselves after losses. And again, shout out to Shea, because look how he handled himself in the post-game interview yesterday. With class, with dignity, didn't have a scowl on his face, didn't give reporters dirty looks because of the questions they asked. And compare that to what the Knicks went through after they lost game 1 to Indy. Or other stars for that matter. LeBron, after they lost. Shout out to Shea, because as the MVP of this league, that's how you have to handle yourself. And he did it like a true Canadian, with class and dignity and respect, and giving proper answers, articulate, not short with people. And that's just what I would expect from him and from both teams in this entire series. I'm looking forward to game 2 on Sunday. Like I said, it should be a long series. As a Canadian, again, would love to see Shea and Lou Dort bring this home. But then you have Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin on the Pacers, also throw in Pascal. And so even if the Pacers won, that would be a good look too. I just want to see good basketball with teams that are really about being teams, playing together and having each other's back, not just about a big three and what they bring to the table, and and then forcing the rest of their team to come up in big spots when those type of players can't, because you guys have basically controlled the entire payroll. For all the front-running NBA fans who only want certain players and certain teams and certain markets in the NBA, grow up, learn a little bit more about basketball and what it actually takes to win championships, try and enjoy the series. Because I know I will. Everyone, talk to you later on the next episode. Peace and love.